All right. What's going on, everybody? What's happening? This is your man, Miles. I am back at it. Okay, we missed last week, but I just want to take a second to say welcome. Welcome back to Sunday Skool. I know we missed last week. I want to apologize for that, but it was out of my hands. For those of you that are in the on my educational platform, you know that I have a mother that's quite ill. So I've been dealing with that. But outside of that, she's doing what she has to do. And here we are back at it right now, Sunday Skool. And today we're going to talk about a strategy that I put together a few years ago. I learned it a long time ago. Well, I learned portions of it, I should say, a long time ago from a mentor of mine. And I put it to use in my business, and it's more relevant today than it has been for a really long time. Always take care of family, absolutely, for sure. But it's more relevant today than it has been, and it's easier actually today than it has been since probably about 2012, 2013, depending on what your financial attributes are, right? So we're going to talk a lot about that today. In fact, we're going to talk just about that today. It's called 2-year to millionaire. That's what I call it. The 2-year to millionaire strategy. And we're going to talk a lot about what that is today and how you can take advantage of it right now, how you can get in and make that happen. So without further ado, let's get ready to go. If you don't have your pen and paper, iPad, or something to take these notes with, make sure you go and get them. But we're going to get started right now. You ready? Let's make it happen. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up. Being a real estate investor, there's nothing to it.
Sellers are just waiting for my call. Hey.
I'm sick and tired of y'all calling me. Stop calling my phone. I'm just sick of them. Sick.
So basically, there's no competition.
All I have to do is mail these out. Boom. Here comes the money.
Real estate. Easy money.
Hey, get away from my car.
My offers are solid, and they always get accepted.
Be nice.
As real estate investors, we make our own hours.
Now all I have to do is put in these bandit signs.
If you invest in real estate, you know exactly what you just saw. It can be problematic, right? It's the same group of people going after the same group of people saying the same thing to the same group of people. I get it. I've done it all. Some of those strategies can work, but it's all about messaging and numbers. But I'm here to tell you today that there's an absolutely better way to get things done, that you can double what you're doing. If you're a full-time investor already, you should be doing 5 to 10 deals a month. If you're not, let's have a conversation. If you're just getting started, this is the best way for you to go and get started. If you don't have any money to put into marketing and you want to develop a pipeline of deals that's consistently coming through, and you don't have to have the exact same conversation over and over again with another new seller. All you have to do is watch this study that I've put together for you. It's a little bit of a training, and let's have a conversation afterward. I've been at this for more than 2 decades, and we've developed strategies and relationships and systems and processes that allow our business to do 15 deals, 12 deals a month per market that we're in. And I want to share this information with you. Click the link below. Let's have a conversation. Peace. All right, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. Listen, this strategy, the 2-year to millionaire status, is so significant and so simple to do right now that if you implemented these strategies, you brought in some partners, whatever your cash situation is, because you're going to need some cash, right? I'm not going to sit. I mean, some of these deals you're going to be able to do relatively no money down or very little money to get in, but you're going to want to bring in some partners. You're going, whether they're your your money partner or a partner in the deal. However you play that equity, it really doesn't matter. But that is something that we can talk about. In fact, we talked about how to raise private capital, how to put some partnerships together in the program just recently. And I will go over that because I know that I shared with this group here in Sunday Skool how to raise private capital, or at least how to start that process. Maybe next week we'll talk about, and man, I'll write this down. We'll talk about, how to develop partnerships, kind of like JVing on deals. I just had a conversation with someone who I work with just before this about JVing on a deal with her in California somewhere, right? So we're going to put that together. I'm going to go over that documentation. Cassandra, if you're listening, I promise you once I finish up here tonight, I'll be going over that and getting back to you tonight about that information, right? Cool. So I wrote a book last year in preparation for this, right? It's called When There's Blood in the Streets. Can you see it? Okay. This book is all about these kind of strategies. That's all this is about. This book is just about those strategies. If you want to get a copy of it, just pay for the shipping and handling, and I'll send it to you. Shoot me a message, and I'll get the book out to you by the end of the week, actually. We mail them out, I think on Thursdays or Fridays, we mail them out. But let me say this. If you have questions as we move forward in this process, make sure you put them in the comments. I want to make sure that I'm answering all of your questions. I want to make sure that you leave Sunday Skool with a clear idea of what it is you want to do based on the information you received here today. There's also links in the description if you want to set up a time to have a conversation with me about how you can work closer with our team and achieve your goals much, much faster. This community is here to help you, whether you're just here now or you choose to get into the fast track, the educational process inside the inner circle. And don't forget, for those of you that want to be involved in it, we are going to Belize. There's only room for 20, and I think we only have maybe 6 or 7 spaces left. I have to check. But it's going to be fun. We've got a whole week. I'm covering that for you to get to Belize. And it's a week packed with marketing information, estate planning, business development, partnerships, whatever it is you want. You're going to meet people from all around the country in all walks of lives that you can partner with. This isn't about me being better. It's about us being better as a community. Fair enough? Okay, cool. So, good to see you too, man. Hey, Mr. Fulford, good to see you, man. Welcome in, my brother. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by today. I appreciate you as always, my friend, and I hope you get a lot of great, solid, actionable information here today, because this, my friend, is all about transformation, not just information. Put this information to work, okay? Perfect. So I'm going to move forward. Remember, if you have questions, just ask them. Put them in the comments. Let me get to it, okay? Let me answer your questions. I want to help you out. So what is Millionaire, in 2 years? What is this 2-year to millionaire strategy? Well, this strategy is about acquiring real estate, specifically single-family real estate, one property every month for the next 24 months. Now, you could do better. You could do worse. This is just a way for you to gauge it. I can assure you that if you follow the strategies that I use in my business, if you follow the strategies that other people that I'm showing how to use this, you'll get a deal a month easily. Whether you choose to wholesale it off or keep it for yourself, it's entirely up to you. It really is entirely up to you, okay? So there are ways that you can do all of this. How can you wholesale a deal? Because I talk about it all the time. How do you wholesale a deal with little to no equity? Cash flow. You show how it can cash flow and wholesale that thing off. And on a dollar for dollar cost basis, cash on cash return kind of thing, people will look at that and say, okay, I can get a 26% return on my investment by buying this from you. Maybe you make $5,000, maybe you make $10,000, maybe you make $20,000. on a wholesale deal. It really just depends on the deal, how much equity is and how much there is and how much cash flow there is. Those are the main points for you to make money in these deals, right? But in this process, I want to show you right now, and I'm going to click into this slide system here, or the slide show. It's a PDF really. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. And I'm going to go with you line by line, right? Line by line, and show you what it means and how this actually works, okay? So let's get to it. Let's get right in here to it. Now you'll see I'm gonna kind of actually just kind of go back. I'm gonna go back here and start right here. Okay, so this is what it's called. The step-by-step 2-year to millionaire strategy, right? It's not a fly-by-night fluke. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It really isn't. I promise you that once you have your processes, your system in place, these deals are going to come to you. I mean, this week we got 15 leads. We'll probably turn 3 or 4 of them into deals right away, right? Some of those are going to turn into deals later on, but we'll get into that here in just a second. So here's where we start. These are single family deals that will make you a millionaire in 2 years or less, right? If you follow the strategy. It's really, really very simple. And what are we looking for? We're looking for properties that we can acquire at 70% or less, but under market value. Now, those are deals that you can keep for yourself and use the BRRRR strategy. You can wholesale them off, right? Those are those cash deals that are so coveted in the market today. People are having a very, very difficult time finding an abundance of them. Are they out there? Absolutely. We get them. We're doing them, right? After this, if anyone wants to learn team up, I am game to assist. So I'm going to get to that here in a second. That's pretty cool. Thank you for that. So 70% or less, those are those cash deals everyone wants to get, right? And everybody's trying to squeeze this square peg into this circle hole right now, and it really doesn't work. It depends on where you are in the market. But if you're in the Southeast, you're going to have to go by the 70, maybe 75% rule, depending on the lender. But most lenders are at 70%. When you're in those really, really super expensive areas, now we're talking about, 80% LTVs from the lenders out there. And those definitely will require a significant amount of cash, because now we're talking about properties that are, $1 million if you're in California. It depends on where you are in California, but you're not talking about anything less than 600,000. That's for sure. You're hard pressed to find something for less than that out there. You're hard pressed to find a plot of land for less than $500,000 out there. Again, depending on where you are in the state. But I digress. Let's move forward. The second kind of property we're going to look at are at market value or below market value, acquiring them on terms, right? Now, why does that work? And how can we do those? Because we do them all the time. In fact, we're closing one tomorrow. We closed one last week. We're buying an RV park this way. We're doing the due diligence on that right now. It is real, is the point I'm trying to make. So many people are constantly wondering, how is this happening? Is it legal? Is it real? How do you do this? How do you do? Listen, all you have to do is follow the processes, and you'll get these deals done. We do them every day. And anybody that's on here right now that's part of my educational process will tell you. I'm on the phone with them and their deals, locking them down. I'm doing them. Of course, we've got an acquisitions team. We've got, a dozen or so callers that are doing these things. Terms say, just a lot. Let's see. Someone says here. Let's see. Someone says here, terms can get you whatever you like. Pace just put out a video on how to own or finance a car. Absolutely. And I don't know who this is, but who they're speaking of, because I can't see your name. I'm sorry, but they're talking about Pace Morby, who is a person that just does subject to. He's the truth. He's been around for a while, not quite as long as me, but he has definitely been around and is worth his stock. The man he's the truth. So him and Jamil Damji, hey, Paul, it's Paul. Him and Jamil Damji, and they do very different things. But yeah, Pace is the truth. And doing the car, Pace talks about, gosh, what is that car? I think it's an F-150. I think it's an F-150 story he tells. But it's true. You know, I mean, I've done it. I bought a GMC that way. I mean, you can do it with anything. You know, you do it with absolutely anything. When I first got into real estate, I was using this strategy to acquire stuff. You know, you can buy businesses this way. You hear me talk about it all the time. There are websites out there right now, leasetrader.com, where you can just take over someone's lease right now. I mean, if you don't have a car and you don't have a bunch of money to put down, but you can pay $500 or $600 a month on a car, plus the insurance, go to leasetrader.com. I'm not pitching. I'm just telling you where you can go and get you something, right? If you can make the payment, you're good to go. Make sure you stay under those miles, though, because they'll hit you in the head with that. Anyway, let's get back to business. So you're going to look for properties, and this is how we ask people to sell us their real estate. We give them two options. You can sell it to us cash, or which is all cash, but we got to get it at a certain price, or you can sell it to us on terms. Why terms? Today's money is really expensive. If you've been paying attention, you know that the interest rates went up again last week, right? I knew they were going to go up. They went up another quarter basis point. It has everything to do with consumer spending and trying to, put this inflation and overspending that we're having in this country in particular. It's not just here. It's in Canada. It's in Europe. It's in most of the Western world. But the entire world is feeling this stuff, right? But interest rates are high. And as of Friday, if you have super great credit, you can get an interest rate right now to buy a brand new house at 7.3%. But there are loans that are out there right now with people that have to sell their home that you can pick up at 2.25%, 2.7%, 3.2%, even at 5%. The one we're closing tomorrow, we're doing it at 5%. We're getting it at, I think the payment on that is $1,200 a month, and we immediately have it leased out for $2,100 a month, right? And that's the kind of stuff that you want to do. We're seeing the crash happen before our eyes, Paul says. Yes, we are. We are absolutely seeing the crash happen before our eyes. And it's not really a crash, it's a correction. In some areas of the country, it's absolutely going to feel like a crash. So depending on what your investment strategy is, you can fully take advantage of that. But that's a conversation for another day. Well, it's actually part of it we're having right now and how you can do that and what that looks for you monetarily. Now, let's just move forward here. So these are the kind of two deals that we're going to be looking for. And when we're having a conversation with people, when we're talking to, when our VAs or our, acquisition specialists are talking to people, this is what we're looking for. And this is how we place our offers. Okay. Now in this two-year to millionaire strategy, we're looking to make $10,000 on a deal. We want to do one deal a month. Now, a lot of you, I know you have jobs, right? You have other commitments in life. We understand that. But if you utilize the strategies that we talk about, and again, if you're not a part of the Facebook group, make sure you get access to that. It's called the Real Estate Accelerators Group. Of course, it's free. And there's a free program in there, which is the 5-day Real Estate Investors Marketing Challenge, where I talk about how you can leverage your time. And I'll just tell you straight away, one of the most important things is getting yourself a VA, even if it's part-time. I'm telling you, it works. You find a way to get it. I mean, they're right $4 an hour. I mean, if you get one for 20 hours, it's $80 a week. If you can afford it, do it, or find a way to do it, because not everyone has the ability to sit on the phone for 20 hours. These people are setting up appointments with you based on your availability so that you can close these deals out, okay? But you're going to work 5 hours a week. You can make those calls. You can just do that. But 5 hours a week, I ask people that come into our program, if you can guarantee me 10 hours a week, 5 to 10 hours a week is actually what I say. If you can guarantee me that, I can help you win in this business. The more time you can dedicate to it, obviously, the better you're going to do. But if you can't give me that 5 to 10 hours a week. It's not really giving it to me, it's giving it to you to help you get where you want to go. That's going to be problematic. Now, moving back into the deals, we want you to make a minimum of $400 a deal. Why $400 a deal? Because the magic number for everyone is getting to a passive income of $100,000 a year. I mean, you could be in California. $100,000 a year if you're in LA is nothing. If you're in Manhattan, it's nothing. But for most people, that's a significant amount of money. A significant amount of money to earn passively. I'm talking about, this is mailbox money. That's what I call it. You know, this is mailbox money, $400 a month. You need 21 deals. 21 deals will get you, and do the math for yourself, 400 times 21, right? And that's a month. And then multiply that number by 12. And I'm not counting the $10,000 down. And we're going to get to that here in a second. But that $400 a month is going to give you, with 21 deals, that $100,000 a month passively coming into your mailbox or your bank account every single month. All right. Now, you're going to focus on buying these properties. Again, if we're talking about taking these properties over on terms, you're going to get these properties. Hey, you know, Raymond is the man. Raymond stays busy. Raymond stays busy. He's my man. All right. So you're going to be looking for these to get at least 10% or more, again, under market value. That's what you're looking for. Now, if you're seeing an interest rate that's at 2, 3, 4% that you can take over, it's okay to be, you know, right at market value. That is okay, because you're going to have a longer term strategy. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. You're also going to sell it for at least 10% above today's market value, with the presumption, or the assumption, I should say, that the property values are going to increase year over year for the foreseeable future. And really, that is the case. Let's see. Hey, hello there. Hello there. The Investor's Journey. How are you? Welcome. I know who that is. Welcome. All right. So this is what we're looking at, and this is how we're going to put this together. Let's hit the next. So here's an example deal, right? Now, when I first did this, we could pick up properties for, you know, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000. And of course, I had to revamp that as time went on, because values increase. And I didn't want to go too high above the mark right here. So I kept the market value at around 200,000. Albeit you're going to see things for 250, 300. It's just the way it is if you're in a major market. If you're in a smaller market, these numbers will absolutely make sense to you. You're going to see them all the time. And I'll show you how you can search for deals that max out at that value as well. So you can kind of pinpoint exactly what it is you want to do, exactly where it is you want to be, and make that happen. It really depends on what you want to do. But for this scenario, this is what we're going to look at. So your purchase price, if the market value is 200, is going to be right at 180, because that's what? 10% below that market value. You're going to use, in this case, and we're going to talk about the creative financing strategy. You're going to use subject to or creative financing to acquire and or sell. As we see here, you're going to sell it as a lease option or a wrap. Okay. You're going to get $10,000 cash at closing as a down payment or a fee, however you structure it, on every closing. I'll show you how that works as well. So once you've done that, your equity at closing is going to be $30,000. And you say, well, Miles, how does that actually work? I had to shrink that down because I need you to see that. So where does that 30,000 come from? Okay, well, here's where it comes from. So if you get it at 180 and you sell it at 220, which is 10% more, right? 10% above, that's a $40,000 difference. But they're giving you $10,000 down, right? So that 10,000 is coming off that 40 that's still sitting there in equity, which gives you now 30,000 in equity. You follow me? It's going to be the difference between, basically you're selling it to that person at 220. They're giving you 10. That they now owe you 210, but your payoff is 180, right? And in this scenario, can I pull so to see the last statement? Okay, so can you see it now? I hope you can see it because I had to shrink it so you could see that last one there. right? All right, so that's how your equity winds up at $30,000. Assuming that they have a high note or a high interest rate or whatever, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance will be somewhere around $1,500. Now, I'm being extremely conservative as I have this conversation with you, but if you're buying this property from someone who bought 5 years, 6 years, 7 years ago, their interest rates are going to be, pretty low, right? If you're taking it over, their interest rates are going to be really, really low. Or if you're doing, however you're doing it, there's a number of ways that you can, kind of make this happen. But just to keep it simple, if your monthly payment, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, PITI, is $1,500, you're going to lease option or wrap this to someone else for a minimum of $1,900 a month. And there are different ways that you can manipulate this. One of the ways that I do that so I can get more cash in my pocket, a strategy that I use is I say, okay, I can get $1,900 a month for this property, but I'm going to charge $2,200 a month for this property. You'd be like, Miles, well, why would these people do that if they can just go rent a place for less? Well, that's an easy way to answer that, because I'm going to give them a $250 monthly credit towards their down payment once they get the refinance done. Does that make sense? Now, that money's not going to come back out of my pocket. That money is going to come from the $30,000 in equity that I have in these deals. But I digress. I don't want to confuse you. But it's a way that you can put more cash in your pocket month over month, year over year, okay? To the tune of, if it's $250, if you're charging $300, it's $3,600 a year, right? If you've got a 2-year deal with them, that's $7,200 that you're putting in your pocket today. And when they refinance, they won't be paying you $210. They'll be paying you $210 minus $7,600, which is what, $202,400 is what that is. That's what your payoff would wind up being. So this is just a way for you to put more cash in your pocket faster before you get to that point. Okay? Okay. So let's get to the next slide. I'm going to try to increase this here because it's kind of tough to see. All right. That's good. Boom. All right. So now here's year one and your 2-year to millionaire strategy. You're going to acquire a property every month, right? So look at month 1 here. And I don't have one of those glow cursors, so please forgive me. I've been trying to find one that's compatible with this service. So that's why I said I have to go over it line by line with you. So if we look at number 1, or month 1, excuse me, you'll see that cash to you at closing is going to be $10,000. Now you're going to get at least $400 a month. And guess what? If you do a lease option or a wraparound mortgage as your exit strategy, you don't have to be a landlord, right? You don't have to chase people around. What happens if you're in, I don't know, if you're in Cleveland and you pick up a property in Texas? Is it going to be easy for you to manage? No, it's not. It's going to be absolutely ridiculously impossible for you to manage, which means now you're going to have to do what? Take some of that $400 and go hire a property manager. But you don't want to hire a property manager because now that's 10%. 10% from the $1,900 a month in this scenario that we're talking about. So let's just call it $200 a month. So now your $400 is basically cut in half on every house. So all these numbers we're looking at are now cut in half. When you do a lease option or a wrap, you're creating ownership, home ownership. There is the presumption of ownership in a lease option, and there's actual ownership in a wraparound mortgage. So you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself and your investment and how you want to exit this. Some people are perfectly okay with managing a property on their own, and that's fine if you want to rent, right? There's a gentleman that I talk to all the time. We just did a podcast and a series of videos together. His name is Chris Haskins. He buys and rents, but he's only doing it in his hometown. He only does it in his hometown. That's it. So it's easy for him to manage because everything is right there in his circumference. When it's not, it's really tough. So I focus on the exit strategies of lease options and wraparound mortgages because I don't have to now hire a property manager. If the window breaks, that's on the homeowner. If the AC goes out, that's on the homeowner. If a meteorite falls from the heavens and crashes on the roof, it's on them. You might say, well, Miles, how do you protect yourself? Well, we protect ourselves by being a loss payee on the insurance. Okay, so that's part of the strategy and how you get into it, right? So let's move along. So you'll see in the fourth column there where monthly equity or equity payoff, there would be none in that first year because nothing sold. So you go into your equity buildup, and in there, you've got $30,000. Again, that equity from the difference from the 180 that you got it for and the 220 that you sold it to the next person for, less the 10,000. That's your 30, okay, of equity that you have there. And now we have the silent profiteer, which is depreciation, which you'll see in the final column. That is going to be if all houses fit. I'll tell you the formula. So if you don't know what depreciation is, standard depreciation on a single family home is whatever you paid for the home divided by 27.5. That is what your write-off is per year. However, there is a caveat to that. The land does not depreciate. So you have to look at the tax assessed value of the land at the time that it's being assessed and say, okay, this land is, the tax assessor says the land is worth $40,000. I paid $180 for the house. So I'm going to take 40 off the 180, and now, that's 140. And then you're going to take 140 in this scenario and divide it by that number, and it's going to give you that number. So, or whatever that actually is. So this is the number that you're going to wind up depreciating on an annualized basis. These are just hypothetical numbers. They're not actual specific numbers because everybody's in a different place, right? The land is going to be worth more or less depending on where you are. So this is just a thrown around number. But I did take an average cost of land out of this particular scenario so that I could come up with a number, okay? So you're going to, when you're doing this for yourself, and again, I'm going to tell you, make sure that you talk to your tax professional so that you can understand exactly what they're doing. I'm not giving you tax advice. I'm telling you what I do in my business. Fair enough? Okay, cool. So that's how depreciation works. So people will tell you all the time, oh, it's whatever you paid for divided by 27.5. Yeah, that's kind of true, but you have to pull that land out. So then as we go down the line, every month we're adding one. So you'll see in month 2, that's Siri talking to me. So in month 2, we go up to $800 a month. You'll see all these numbers are going to stay the same because that's how you're working your system. Your cash to close. You'll see that your equity buildup is always going to be the same. Now, of course, you're going to buy houses at different values and your matrix is going to look a little different. I didn't want to throw a bunch of monkey wrenches into this. I wanted it to look as simple as I could so that you can get the gist of exactly how this system works. Okay? I hope this works for you. So the only numbers that are going to change for you in year 1 are going to be your mailbox money, which goes up, 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 and up, all the way in month 12 to $4,800 a month. And then your depreciation will obviously go up, 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 and up, all the way to as much as $5,820 in this scenario in month 12. Now, again, you're not going to get the full years. I mean, whatever you bought in year 6, you're only going to get half that year of depreciation when it comes to December, right? So again, your numbers are going to be a little different. I just didn't want to throw a monkey wrench into this for you. But if we go back and we look at it now, you see at the bottom, we got $120,000 that we brought in year 1 in cash in your pocket. We have $31,200 that we also brought in mailbox money. We didn't make anything on a pay down. We've got $360,000 in equity, and we've got $37,830 in depreciation. This is how much we're going to save, but they count it as cash. That's up to your accountant, but they count it as cash, and then they take it back out. But that's how it plays out, right? So here's what our year 1 looks like. Total cash that you brought in, this is This is the $10,000 a month per deal plus the monthly cash flow plus the depreciation is $189,030 plus the equity that you have. This goes to your net worth. You're obviously not going to be able to go and spend that, but this is to your net worth. This is how you become a millionaire, right? Cash flow is important. It's a very important part of that as well. But your grand total is $549,030 after year one. So presumably, year two would do the exact same thing for you, right? Absolutely it does. And we'll take a look at what that looks like right now. We're right here into year two. Here's what our situation looks like in year two. We're starting the year off at $4,800 a month. By the time we finish it, we're only at $5,200 a month. You might be like, Miles, how is that even possible? How does that change? Well, that changes because $500,000 year one. Yeah, that would be your net worth, but you would have brought in over $150,000 in actual cash, and then you have a write-off of over $37,000. It's real. It's just amazing and fantastic how this, and if you have any other write-offs, it really, really works well for you. So, going back into our equity payoff. Now, how I did this here is about half of the people, and it's not going to be that way. It'll more than likely be maybe 20% of the people will actually pay it off and move on. Some might want an extension. Maybe you do it, maybe you don't. A lot of them, if I'm being honest, are just going to walk away. They're just going to walk away. In fact, in our business, and I think in most people's business, 95% of the people that are doing these lease options or wraparound mortgages, wraps are a little bit different. The people that do the wrap, they're generally wanting to refinance, right? And you're going to have balloon payment structured in there, which if they don't do it, you're going to get an extension fee, and that may be only for 12 months. And then, but you can structure that however you want to. And we'll talk about that at another time. But, they might need an extension for another year because they're not quite there for their credit, or maybe the economic conditions like right now aren't really, good for them. So we give them those extensions. But just from the payoffs that you get in this scenario, you're getting another $120,000 a year. In this scenario, your monthly cash flow goes up to $60,000 on an annualized basis. You will have received in your equity payoff another $180,000. If half those people refinanced or sold it, whatever the situation was, you will have received another $180,000. Another $180,000. Look here. I just got to say this before I get back into that. I mean, this is how you keep that machine oiled and greased. This is how you always have money to go out and do more deals, and make sure that you're paying off your debt to any investors that you might have as well, right? Because even if you got that place for $180,000, you may have borrowed $20,000 to get into the deal. Okay, so if you paid that $20,000, your payoff would go down to $160,000. See, I'm not giving you all of that right here, because we'd be here for the next 2-3 hours having this conversation, and I value your time, and I definitely want to eat something at around 8 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock, right? So, but again, those are the kind of things that we talk about in the education. I'm going back to the slides here in a second, and there's not many. I'm not going to keep you all night, I promise. But you have to understand that this is how you go out and you borrow money from your private lenders, and I'll teach you how to do that. And then you take that and you buy that property. There's money that goes in, it's just not your money, okay? And now you're making maybe monthly payments to them, or maybe even they're an equity partner. However you structure that deal is completely and totally up to you, right? It's completely and totally up to you. But when that $10,000 comes in, if they're your equity partner, you're going to split it with them. If they're your lender, that money you keep and you put it back to work. You put it back to work. You pay yourself some and you put the rest back to work, because cash in the bank is dead. It's dead. Look at what inflation is today. $100 today isn't what $100 was just 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Everyone that's watching this can agree with me. So you have to understand that you need to put money to work, but you also need lenders, because I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You're never going to have enough money to do all the deals. You're always going to have to go borrow money 100% of the time. right? You may have a couple $100,000 in your bank right now that you want to deploy. That's great. That's great. And you should put that money to work, but it should be putting, once you've put it to work, now you need to get more money for more deals. So you have to choose how that goes. Okay. I had to put my face in there so I could share that with you. So going back, now you're going to keep doing deals. Your equity buildup is going to consistently build up. So, you're going to get you got another one here. You paid one off, you got another one, and that doubles because you got more equity and then more equity. And it just keeps going, 30 to 60, 30 to 60, 30 to 60. So, and why is it that way? You were like, Miles, I don't understand that 60. How's that 60? So you're going to buy a new one, right? You're picking up another one every month. So you bought 12 last year. You bought 12 this year. You got 6 payoffs. So you still have 18 properties, right? Right. So when you pick up a new one, or when you didn't sell one, you got equity. Then you pick up another one, you have more equity, you have more equity, you have more equity, and it compounds because you have more properties now. So now, based on all of that, you have $540,000 in equity, and you now have almost $70,000 in write-offs alone. And does anyone have any questions so far about this? Any questions at all? Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. $500,000 in 1 year? Absolutely. That's your net worth, not your cash. I want to be clear on that, but we're going to get to that here in a second. We're going to go on to the next slide here. Not that one. So to break it down, your 2-year totals are going to wind up looking like this. Your total cash that you would have actually brought in is $429,840. Your total equity right now is sitting at $540,000. So that's the 2-year total. That's $969,000. You say, Miles, you said, $1 million. Well, if that's not $1 million, I mean, it's close, but it's not $1 million, Now we got to just put all the cash from year one because our equity doesn't change. Our equity is what it is. But once we add our cash, because that's going back, this is just the total from year 2, right? With our payoffs, because we got 180 there, we got another 120 in cash, plus the almost $70,000 in your write-off, plus the $60,000 in mailbox money. That all comes to $429,000, almost $430,000. Now, once you add year one's cash right back into the mix, we're at $1.15 million, baby. $1.15 million with half of that, 540 of it being in equity. About 100,000 of that, roughly, being a tax write-off. The other $500,000 is literally sitting in your pocket. It's literally sitting in your pocket. And that's just in 2 years. And that's only doing a deal a month. Do I have any questions? Do I have any questions so far? Anyone? Take a little sip of water here. It's a little hot under these lights. And that is not a fly-by-night kind of thing. This isn't just throwing stuff out there because guess what? Some months you're going to do 2, maybe 3 deals. Some month you might not do any deals. I don't want that to be the case for you. That's where the consistency comes in. That's where your marketing comes in. That's where having VAs come in. That's where, as you grow, having acquisitions managers in place. These things are vitally important to how you move. And by the way, if anybody is watching this on YouTube right now, I want you to go ahead and like this, subscribe to this, do whatever, to the channel, because I'm giving content away every single week. Every single week, the podcast stuff, the questionnaire stuff, the process stuff, how to do this, how to do that. All of these business principles, all of these things that are vital, I believe, to not only my success, but of course to your success as well. These things are necessary. Okay. They're necessary. Okay. Got a question here. Hey, Miss Richardson, what's happening? I haven't heard from you in a while. It's so good to see you. Can you go back over the example slide? Sure, I can run back over that real quick. Which one, though? Which one do you want to see? If you can tell me that, let me know which one you're looking at, because I want to know so I can go right back to it and effectively move forward in the conversation that we're having here. So just let me know what slide. If you want to see year one, year two, if you want to see the totals or the example of the deal, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean because it's all an example, but but the example slide in the very beginning, if you want to see that, I can do that. I just want to know which slide you want to see, and I'll get right back to it. I promise. I promise. Right? So just let me know, and I'll get back to it as soon as I see your comment come through. So moving forward, I want to make sure we love it, Miles. Okay, what's going on, Mr. Cook? Welcome, my man. Welcome. I want to make sure that you're very clear on what this process looks like and what your plan could look like, the example deal. Okay, cool. I'll get right back to it. I want to be very clear. I'm going to go back to this example deal real quick on what you can do and the how-tos, how to do this. It's structured basically all off the creative financing, right? That's how we structure it. So here it is. Here's the example deal. Boom, boom, boom. Oop, I don't want to get too small because I want you to see that bottom number. All right. So the example deal is if the property was at a market value of $200,000, you're going to buy it 10% below that, but there are some variables that are in there depending on what the interest rate is when you're taking it over. But you want to get it 10% below. And no matter what, no matter where you get it, even if you got it at market value, you're going to sell it at 10% above minimum, right? So you can play the game. I mean, you might do a 2-year deal, you might do a 3-year deal, you might do a 5-year deal. But for the sake of time and speed, time in particular, I wanted to make sure that I just did a 2-year deal, right? So if you get this at 200 and you use subject to creative financing in some way to take it over, you're going to sell it on a lease or a lease option or a wrap. So you don't have to become a landlord unless you just want to. I explained, you heard me probably talk about Chris, my colleague Chris, who is doing this just in his area. So he manages all these properties, or his team manages all these properties. That's going to give you're going to get $10,000 cash in your pocket on these deals. You're going to have $30,000 in equity in this deal. How do you get 30? So if you got it at 180 and you sold it at 220 and they gave you $10,000 down, the difference there between that 210 and that 180 is the $30,000 in equity. If in this situation, your monthly payment was $1,500 PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, you're looking at $1,500 a month, and you're going to lease it out for a minimum of $1,900 a month. You have to get $400 a month. That's my rule. It doesn't have to be yours. You could say, I'm comfortable with 3. You could say, I need more. I want 5, right? But I put that together in a manner which I explained in how you can give a credit to the buyer and also put more cash in your pocket, which reduces your equity payoff later on, but it puts more, in the case that I explained, as much as $3,600 more in your pocket every single year per deal. I hope I was able to explain that effectively for you. Let's see. We have a question here. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't see your name. So it says, do you have a problem getting people to go with the lease option? No, not at all. I mean, I put these out there on the way we sell them. I'm going to tell you how we put them out there. Now, we do have a list of people that are waiting for things, but that list changes because we're not the only game in town, wherever town is. If you're looking for lodging, you're not going to stop and wait on Miles. I'm not just going to wait on Miles. It's going to be cool. You're not going to do that. You're going to keep looking for lodging. So we have a database of people, but we're also utilizing Facebook. We're utilizing Craigslist. We're utilizing Zillow. We're utilizing all these different platforms, and we're saying, hey, your job is your credit. Come see us. And then we put them through the ringer. Not too much of a ringer. We just want to make sure that they have the ability to pay. Do they have the down payment? What does their credit look like? We ask them to bring us a credit report, a current credit report that they pull on their own so we can get an idea of what their credit is looking like. There are people and companies out here that say, all right, you're going to have to now go into, one of these programs to get your credit straight over the next 2 years. See, I don't want to chase people down. It's not my responsibility to make sure you do what you need to do for yourself and your family. It's yours. That's how I see it. So if you don't take the time to get your credit situated in the 2 years or 3 years, whatever the duration of the structure we put in, that's not my fault. Will I give you an extension? Absolutely. But, it comes at a cost. We charge 2 points on those extensions, 2 points of whatever the principal balance due is. If it was $210, it wouldn't be $4,200 that they would have to pay, for that extension. There's just a lot of different ways that goes. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and those around us, but we have to make sure that people are being responsible for themselves. I don't want to make sure that they're enrolled into Lexington Law or whatever program. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to hire someone to do that. Because if they don't follow through, we take the property back. Period. If they can't get financing, we take the property back. Period. Now, I hate to sound harsh, and again, we do give them extensions, but as time goes on, you have to be able to qualify for something, right? Okay, so Mr. Cook says, with the monthly income of $1,900 minus the $1,500 PITI, is that how you get to the $400 monthly? Yes, sir. Absolutely, 100%. And I just want to take a moment to welcome the Cook family into the fold of Real Estate 360. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for your presence today as well. I really do look forward to working with you, man. This is going to be fun and exciting the whole way through, the whole way through. So yes, that's how I get to the 400, and how I get to that additional, 250 or 300 is I'll put it, if it's $1,900 a month, I'll tell them, we're going to charge you $2,200 a month, but $300 of that is going to go towards your down payment once you do the refinance. So you'll have less to actually refinance, but they're also getting the benefit of the appreciation. And I'll switch up my terms depending on the economic cycle that we're in. So see, that's the exciting thing about real estate. I'll give you an example of what we do. Is we'll come in and I'll give them a good price. Let's say I did this at $220, but we're in a time where values are going up like crazy, like we just came out of. I mean, even if it was a consistent 3, 4, 5% single digit returns over that duration, what I'll tell them is say, okay, listen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to guarantee you a good price, today's price at $220, right? But everything above that, we're going to split it 50-50. And so when we redo our sales contract, let's say in 3 years, let's say there was a 5% annual increase over those 3 years. You're more than welcome, Jeff. So that would be a compound interest factor. So let's just look at that for a second. So if it was valued at, let's say, 220 when we did the deal. No, let's be conservative. Let's say it was valued at 200 when we did the deal. 5% is going to be what? 210. And we did a 3-year deal. The next year, we're going to get 5% of 210, the compound interest factor, right? Which is going to be what? So that would be, if it was 10%, that would be 21. So it's 11, 10.5 the next year. So now it's $220,500. So 5% in the third year is going to be 11,000 and change. So now it's $31,650. So everything above 220, we split it 50-50. So in this case, there's roughly $11,500 above the 220. The buyer would get a credit for $5,500, and I would receive a check for $5,500. And that's a way that I do it when we're in the upside of that cycle. Okay, so we share in the benefit of the deal. My pitch changes a little bit with them, but there's still a great benefit to them. Period, point blank. We have a bottom at 220, and we have an unlimited max, but we split it 50-50, which in some cases can put cash, right, literal cash, right in their pocket, not just equity. Depends on how they want to do it. And that's how those things go. That's how we make real estate happen. That's how you turn yourself into a millionaire in 2 years. Now, again, you have a lot of cash, but you're not a millionaire in cash. But even that $500,000 in cash you have, if you keep that cash in your pocket, guess who's going to come knocking at your door? The IRS. And about 40% of that is going to be gone. 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 You're going to give it away. So how do you protect it? You protect it by reinvesting it, investing it into things that are giving you more cash flow, more equity, and so on and so forth, because that cash flow is leverageable. When you're looking at a situation where you have, $100,000 to $200,000, $300,000 a year coming in, you can go and borrow against that if you needed to. If you want to, what we recommend, depending again on the economic cycles, is look at your portfolio after 2 years. You do a full 2 years of acquisition, and in the beginning of year 3, you look at your entire portfolio and you say, all right, what does the appreciation look like based on where we got it? Can I refinance this? And if the answer to that is yes, based on the values that are there at that time, you might have, in this scenario, you've got $1 million there. You got $1 million there. In equity, well, about a $500,000 in equity. But you'll be able to pay off your private lenders if you're doing that, and maybe put another $50,000, $60,000 literally right into your pocket. Or you can wait till year 3 and then do all of those. You might say, look, I don't want to do this if I'm not getting at least, $100,000 or $200,000 out of it. We've got a client that did it in the beginning of last year, and then she'll be doing it at the beginning of next year. But this exact same process is what we were doing with her. She was doing gangbusters, though. She's out of North Carolina. Some of you have heard me talk about her before. She is doing, 3-4 deals a month, every single month, 3-4 deals a month, and she sells nothing. Now, she also chooses to rent. So she's going right back in to refinance these things on the 3rd year, at the beginning of every 3rd year. So basically every 2 years, right? She's going in to refinance her portfolio. She pulled out some ridiculous amount of money and kept a little over $300,000. And this was not this January, but last year, January. So she put $300,000 in her pocket. And that is the kind of money that is not taxable. Borrowed money isn't taxable. I won't get into that right now either. I know it's getting a little late, but I want to make sure that if I haven't answered any questions, please, let me know. Let me know real quick. If I haven't answered any questions, if there's something that you still need to know that I didn't address in your 2-year to millionaire strategy, I need to know, because this is what we do. This is a part of what we do in this particular economic cycle. In this particular economic cycle, this is how we make the money, and you have to make sure you're there. And if you don't get with me right now, just shoot me a DM. I know a lot of people do that. They don't want to ask the question because maybe it takes a little more time. Whatever the case, I'm here. And I want to thank you all again for your patience from last week. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to get the book, just let me know. This book is all about what we're going through right here in the market. Just pay for the shipping and handling. I'll send it out to you, and not that it's worth anything, but I'll even sign it for you. So thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate you. Check out these next couple things that I have to say to you, and I'll see you next week. But reach out to me if you have some more questions. Thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. See you later. Hey guys, it's your man Jason Miles here again. I just wanted to come to you today because I've got something great that I want to basically just kind of give you. It's my second book. It's called When There's Blood in the Streets, A Real Estate Investor's Guide to Winning. Now, this book here is all about how I found success in real estate, all the things that I did to become successful, all the things that I've taught other people over the past 17 years now about being successful in real estate. Listen, there's no lying, there's no kind of softening it up. Real estate is at a time right now where there's going to be some changes in the market, and it's not going to be enough to simply just fix and flip a house. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. So you have to implement, other strategies if you want to find success. There are passive income strategies that we do right now, lease purchase, sandwich lease options, things like that, where we're not just renting, we're creating homeowners, okay? There are fix and flip, there is wholesaling, there is a lot of other things that you can take advantage of that are in this book and kind of pinpoint exactly what it is you want to do for yourself. And again, it's free. All you have to do is fill out the information below, pay for the shipping and handling, and it's yours. It will be mailed right out to you. Now, you don't have to take it from me. All you have to do is read some of the comments and some of the videos, the shares, just things that other people are saying that I've been able to help them with as they've been building their real estate careers. And then, of course, turning around and helping other people. That's the most important thing. It's not enough for you to just have. It's got to be a situation where it's being reciprocated, where you're giving it back, right? That's what this is all about. Now, again, this is the second book that I've written, but it's just for what's going on in today's market. When there's blood in the streets, you've heard the saying, it's time for you to kind of start taking action. And you may not have a lot of money. You may not have any money. None of that matters. We're going to go over the strategies in this book. So fill out the information below. You get the book for free. Just pay for the shipping and handling, and we'll go from there. And I look forward to working with you soon. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. What's going on, friends and family? How y'all feeling today? I hope you're feeling great, doing well. I've had a lot of conversations over the past, I'd probably say about the past couple months, 2-3 months, about people wanting to get involved in real estate and asking how they can get involved in real estate given all that's going on with the economy. Well, you either have a lot of time, which means you don't have the money, or you have a lot of money, which means you don't have the time. And they want to know how they can get involved in real estate. Some of them have said, look, man, what do I need to do to just get into a deal, right? I don't really have the time to do all of that. So we've just invested their money in some of the deals that we do. So I'm here to open the invitation to all my friends and family that are watching this right now. If you're interested in getting involved in real estate and you simply don't have a ton of money or you don't have a ton of time, maybe you only have, $5,000, maybe you have $100,000, I don't know. But if you're interested in investing in real estate deals passively, truly passively, just reach out to me. There's no link, this isn't an ad, just DM me and let's have a conversation. We've got deals right now that we can fund. Right now, as of right now, multifamily as well as single family, deals that you can be in as little as 6 months and as much as 2 or 3 years, depends on the scenario and what your particular investment strategy is. All I can say is let's have a conversation. So if you're interested, friends and family, just reach out, let's have a conversation. I'll see you later.